20 years ago, a seed was planted and cared for. We painstakingly nurtured it and weathered it against adversity until one day it blossomed and the fruits of our labor began to show. Today, millions have learned, shared, and been inspired by what our community has produced. We proudly served 21 million users from 204 countries in 2019. Through our 85,000 technical articles, code samples, and videos, our 450,000 forum questions, and our highly anticipated conferences and events featuring keynote panels, live streams, and industry experts and influencers, we recognize and reward members for their dedication to the community. Through content contributions and mentorships, we ranked number 2,620 in the world with a reach of millions across our social media channels. Thanks to you, our global community of software and data developers grows stronger each day. For more information, visit us at csharpcorner.com.
Good morning and welcome to another episode of Growth Mindset Show. My name is Mahesh Chand. I'm a founder of C Sharp Corner. And everybody, welcome to the show. If you are joining us first time, welcome to the show. If you're joining us back, welcome back to the show. You may already know if you're coming back, this show is all about you. And today we are going to talk about Web3. There's two topics I want to talk about today. One is Web3 and how do you become a Web3 developer. It's an interesting topic, and I'll tell you why Web3 is important if you are a software developer. And then second topic I really want to talk about is David tweeted out yesterday that I think the students and kids should learn programming in high school or even junior school. Junior schools means 8th grade, 9th grade, you know. Do you agree, disagree? So we're going to talk about two topics today: Web3 developer, and then when should you start learning programming? So yeah, I'm here in Philadelphia. Outside, it's nice. Summertime here. It's 80 degrees, nice outside. A little bit hot. I still have COVID, but it's going away. Looks like line is going down every day. Um, so everybody, welcome to the show. I see MD, Deepak, Shika, welcome to the show. Also, you guys can ask any of your questions, anything about career advice, anything about jobs, anything about consulting, startups, your own problems, community, anything you have, any questions you have, feel free to ask your questions here. This is, two-way show. If you ask more questions, I will try to answer those questions. Feel free to jump on, and topic can be anything. It doesn't have to be programming, really. It doesn't have to be anything else, but my background is you still hear, Simon, you still hear noise on my computer? I thought I muted it out. You shouldn't see here. Oh, because from the camera, I see. All right, I will move this away. uh, how's that? Let's see. How's this? This is better, hopefully, because I moved my laptop now from. All right, so sounds good. So I have Deepak here, Ishika. Welcome to the software engineers are joining from office. Yeah, so bunch of these things we can type. Any questions you have, anything about this during this, working from home, working from office, all that. So first thing first, how many of you really know anything about Web3? If you know anything about Web3, let me know, post your comments. I have written an article already on C Sharp Corner what Web3 is, and there's a few more articles coming up on Web3. And Little background on Web3. So, if you look at the history of web, a bunch of people, expert, they have broken down into Web 1, Web 2, Web 3. Web 1 was early days when there was just like HTML, text pages online. It was nothing much. Web 2 is when it's like images, videos, social media. So right now we are kind of going through the last page of Web 2.0. And now Web 3 is coming knocking the door. They're calling it Web 3. So what separates Web 1, Web 2, Web 3 is there's an article, What is Web 3 on C Sharp Corner, as Simon is sharing it. Here you can learn what does Web 1, Web 2, Web 3 really means. And the reason right now we're talking about Web 3 is because the technologies involved in Web 3 now kind of start growing. So there is a big demand of Web 3.0 developers, and this demand will continue to grow. And I'm not saying you're just going to go leave everything and start jumping on Web 3, but this is something you want to think about. Let's say you want to learn something new and you want to change your job to something exciting, career, you want to get something new. That's probably something you want to look for, is Web 3. So Web3 obviously involve a bunch of technologies. One is blockchain. Second one is, obviously spatial web, and also 3Ds and metaverses, um, and decentralization. Is the decentralization the foundation of Web 3.0. So yeah, look at more on that. What today I want to really talk about is how do you become a Web 3.0 developer if you want to become, or how do you try to become, or start jumping into Web 3 right now. I don't have any slides or anything, so if you have any questions, I want you to really you ask me any questions you have. But before I go with Web 3, let me go back to the question, a question David had other day, and I want you to really get involved, and I want your view on what you think of that. So David tweeted out other day, maybe Simon, you can load this, his Twitter account, and he said, what is your thought on can you make the screen bigger too? It's hard to see. Yeah, what is your thought on the students should learn computer programming in junior school? Junior school is really I think fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth grade, sixth, seventh, eighth grade here in the U.S. So, what do you think? What do you think that should student learn programming in like a sixth, seventh, eighth grade? I tweeted out, for me, I don't think so. Right? When you are a young student, your goal should be not just focus on computer programming. Think of that as computer programming is it's if one thing it requires is time consuming, so you need a lot of time, right? It's just because there's so much to learn. It's like a different programming language. It's a different language. It's like learning any language. um, so when you're learning a new language, it requires a lot more time. It's not something you can just do it as you've been doing for past years. That's why i personally think I personally think that young students should focus on more their physical health, mental health, communications, social, rather than too much into being like a coding and math and all that. And why? Sure, we can create genius kids, but personally, I feel like there has to be a physical and mental growth before your intellectual growth, right? Before your knowledge or your education growth. That's what my view is on. What do you think, Simon? What do you think? You think kids should start learning programming in sixth grade? What do you guys think? So yeah, post your comment. What do you think? When should students should start learning programming? All right, Manish said something. So yeah. So that's my view on it, and it may be because of my background. I grew up in a village and doing, it's not like I was a big athlete. I was not an athlete, but I thought I want to become an athlete. So it all depends on background too, right? So your background, it plays a major role here as well. Obviously, every programmer thinks that everybody should be, even like big companies like Microsoft and Google and Facebook, and they're all kids for coding, coding for kids, coding for kids. What they have an agenda, okay? When businesses are promoting coding for kids is totally different, because businesses need more programmers in future. So then based on that, they want to create more programmers. They don't care about kids' health. They don't care about if they are successful or what. They want to create more programmers so they can continue working for them. And that's really this growth mindset show is all about, that you can be a great programmer, but are you happy in your life? Are you successful in your life? Have you achieved what you want to achieve? If you are happy, you're making good money, you like your job programming, that's awesome, that's great. But not everybody's happy doing coding, but they do because this is a job for them. This is, and that's the problem. So some people love problem solving, some people love being programmed, that's great. But when a company says, oh, coding for kids, bring these 5-year-old kids to learn coding, well, that's, I don't know, I that's not me. I wouldn't, I'll just keep all kids away from computers and devices and let them just go have fun, go in the rain, go outside, play sports, do whatever else, but not to be on computer, right? To me, I think it's computer sitting with them is less physical, and that creates a lot more problems in long run. Um, you can be a genius programmer, but if you're not healthy, it's going to affect your whole life. It's going to affect everything, not just your personal life, but everybody around you. It's going to make everybody's life not so healthy. So that's how my views on that. All right, looks like Manish and MD and everybody agrees. Simon, I'm not sure. He said no, not all. I'm not sure what does that mean. Uh, so anyway, so that's my view on that. So David, I covered your question. You said I should talk about this. This is I'm talking about it. That programming should not be for kids. Sports should be for kids. Okay, programming is something you can always learn. Here's the good part, right? It, so if you want to become an athlete, you cannot just go and become an athlete after certain age. If you want to become a tennis player, you cannot just say, oh, I can be 35 years old and become a world class tennis player. I don't think so. This is not how it works, right? Because physical abilities are stop growing. Your physical, you as a human beings reach their full potential physically probably around, I don't know, 25 years age. So that time is your top. That's when you are at the top. So anything physically you have to do before that to become successful. So that's kind of view on it, right? So programming, yeah, you can start programming at 25 and you still be a genius coder. Nobody's going to stop you that. For example, there's some sports, golf, for example, chess, shooting. You can still learn even when you're old, but there's certain things you cannot because you're just physically not capable of it. So that's my view on it. You can always go and become a programmer. And I've seen a lot of people, they learn programming, when they are adults, they're 35, 40 years old, and that's when they learn programming because they like programming, and you can always learn it. You don't have to even go to college for being a programmer. So all right, Simon agrees. I mean, I would not learn coding at an early age. Yeah, so everybody agrees. All right, good. We should bring David on the show and we should debate on him in that, because he thinks, not only him, a lot of people who are programmers, they think that kids should start learning programming early age. And it's not their fault. It's how they are brain fed by these large companies. Okay, it's a pity, and sad that when companies pushing agenda that, oh, coding for kids, and then we, as either MVPs or they're like, oh, let's bring a bunch of kids and learn. They should know about coding, yes, maybe in high school, because that's when they start thinking about their career, what they want to do. So maybe high school is a good age, because, and when I say high school, I'm thinking about ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th grades. Maybe 10th is 11th is a 10th is a good time when you start thinking about that. Okay, I'm not going to be in any sports, but I like programming, I like computers. That's probably a good time, not before that. And even at that time, I would stress too much on that, because even in college, I talk to everybody who goes to college, and a lot of those kids don't even know what they want to be in college. They'll say, I don't know, first semester we're going to see, second semester we're going to see. And many of them, then they change, because initially they are basically told by their parents, oh, you're going to become an engineer, you're going to become an accountant. And I'm talking about the US, I'm not talking about India. I know in India you don't really change whatever your parents decide, and your job is, that's where you focus on more. But here in the US, I see many young students, they go to college, in first 2 years they change totally. And I would say that number is probably 50%, if not more. I may be wrong, but I'm just guessing based on, I don't have data on it, I'm just guessing based on people I talk to. I had this bunch of people. I give you an example. I have a young girl, she was working for me on marketing side and social media. She said she will go to college for accounting, and then end up doing staying away from accounting. Then I had other guy, he said he'll go for business, and they went to sociology. Somebody went to politics. So it all changes. So uh yeah, so that's the problem is, right? So parents here, so that's another thing, is that if in a long run you don't do what you really interests are, then chances are you won't be happy. You may make good money, you may make good living, but when you go to work in the morning, you'll be like, oh no, again, I have to go to work again. And when you're ready to leave, you're like, let's leave work. So when you see this way, oh, I have to go to work again. And oh, yeah, it's 4 o'clock. Let me start looking at my watch. Oh, I almost ready to go home. That's a sign that this is this job is not for you. If you are ready to leave and you don't want to go to work in the morning, you're not happy when you wake up, that's a sign that this job is going to be miserable for you if that's what you continue to do. And I'm not saying you can go and leave job, because obviously there's certainly a lot of limitations. As you know, growing up in India, I know exactly, if you have a good job being a programmer, even though you don't love it, you're still going to do it because it's a good living for you, and that's fine, nothing wrong with that. So all right, so far so good. So let's talk about Web 3.0. And there's another article written by one of our MVPs on Web 3.0 programming languages, top programming languages. So to become a Web 3.0 developer, if you want to become a Web 3.0 developer, you have to obviously know a programming language, which is by default, it's like a prerequisite. It's not even an option, because you are going to become a developer. You're going to, so you have to know a programming language. Uh, and then let me text. Somebody's texting me during my show. Um, just a second. Uh, Sorry about that. Yeah, I keep getting text on that, so I had to kind of. So yeah, so this is another article written by one of our MEPs, Pushpendra, and he wrote that, top programming language for Web 3.0. So first requirement to become a Web 3 developer is you have to be a programmer or developer. So it can be a web developer, and the reason you need one of those programming languages, and there's more programming languages, it's not just one. As long as you know one of the popular programming languages, uh, doesn't matter. Come on. I am live. Okay, somebody's texting me. Um, Sorry about that. Um, so yeah, so first thing is you have to have a programming language understanding and working experience. It can be C, C++, Java, Rust, Python, Solidity, C Sharp. Um, so that's something you can you have to have that. It can be any, JavaScript is one of them. So the reason you want is because you're going to work with one of the blockchains. So when you think of a Web 3.0, it's not a one area. Web 3.0 is like being a developer, right? You can be a developer. What kind of developer? You can be a front end developer, you can be a back end developer, you can be a full stack developer, and then you can be a in front end you can be a React developer, you can be an Angular developer, you can be a Blazor developer, you can be a ASP.NET developer, you can be JavaScript, CSS, UI, UX developer. Backend, you can be writing in Java, you can be writing in JavaScript, Node, you can be writing in C Sharp, you can be writing in any. So there's so many options out there. So that's when you think of Web 3.0. Web 3.0 is even bigger than that. So Web 3.0 includes blockchain. Web 3.0 includes um, this metaverse, which means virtual reality. These means 3D graphics and animations and videos, and it also includes spatial web. It also includes AI and machine learning. It includes uh, digital assets. So it's like a big vast area when you think of Web 3.0, right? So you can pick and choose what your interests are. So if you are a front end developer, you may end up building a front end web application where in the back end you may end up using one of the blockchains, right? So that means to work with a blockchain, you may just be using their APIs, or you may be writing a smart contract on that programming language that blockchain supports. So there is a blockchain, for example, Ethereum. If you want to write a smart contract on Ethereum, you need Solidity. But if you want to write, say, I don't know, a smart contract on a Binance, you can use Solidity for that. You want to write on Algorand, you can use Rust and Python and other language for JavaScript for that. If you are doing a Stratus is one of my favorite because it's you can write your smart contract in C Sharp. So it's the same like any other discipline. Web3 is a very big. Think of big ocean here. You have to pick your area, what you want to be. You can be a backend blockchain developer, right? And just writing blockchain code in C++. That could be one area. Other one could be you are building an NFT marketplace. When you say NFT marketplace means a website or an app where people can upload their images and their digital assets, and you can create NFTs from that. That means now you're building like a website like any other website, but the data and the transactions and all that will store on a blockchain. So this point is that it's so much to learn. So first thing you need is a programming language. Then second part, you need to decide what area in Web 3.0 is your skills are, or your experiences, or your interest is. So if you want to become a you know backend developer, then you will probably learn these one of the core programming languages like C++, JavaScript, and Rust and Python or C Sharp. But if you say I want to become a front end Web 3 developer, then you just need a lot of web front end development experience with some back end API calls, right? Or you may just be in a team where you're doing the front end and somebody's doing the back end and somebody's doing the metaverse and 3D part, right? Um, y- uh, so Unity, for example, Unity is a big part of this whole metaverse. Unity or any or one of those languages, tools and languages that will let you build these virtual worlds, right? So Unity, if you are a good Unity developer, you know how to create these 3D assets, and also you know have animations in all the games. You will create a lot of games. There's a lot of gaming applications are part of Web3 right now. um, so there's so much out there. Yeah, go ahead and read that article. But if you want to become Web 3.0 developer, I know I'm saying a million things here, but you have to pick and choose what your interests are. And you don't have to know all of them, right? There's right now, obviously, you can know all of them, but you don't need all of them to become a Web 3.0 developer. Then, other part of Web 3 also comes, right? So, the good thing about Web3 right now is that there's going to be a big demand of jobs, and there are going to be high paid jobs because there's not too many developers out there. So that's going to be a good thing in coming time, if you ask me. I can already see Purushottam, welcome. Pushpendra, welcome to the show. Yeah, if you ask me, if you're trying to learn something new and exciting, that's something to look for. um, So with that said, hopefully that helps you. Like if you want to become a blockchain developer, right? So you got a bunch of key areas right here. One is programming language. Other one is blockchain. Third one is spatial web and 3D and metaverse um, and Unity. Unity again, obviously, you can use C Sharp as a language as well in there. Fourth one is you can create NFTs. So NFTs are also part of programming, but you can create on any blockchain. And depending on the blockchain, you'll need a different programming language. So anybody has questions so far? That kind of covers our brief show today. Obviously, I didn't want to spend too much time, but I'm writing an article on this. I'm writing a detailed article on. It's taking me forever. How to become a Web 3.0 developer. That article should be coming on C Sharp Corner soon, and I don't know. Sometimes it takes longer time to write articles. Um, with that said, so that covers our today's topics. Ravi Kant, welcome to the show. If you guys have any questions about career or jobs or community, anything, feel free to ask your questions because this show is all about you. My goal is to help you out. If I can answer any of your questions, um, that'll be good. Um, in the end, let's few things we want to um, do a little bit house cleaning here. This show is every week, 12 noon. Then we have a bunch of conference coming up, right? Simon, you want to share some of the conferences coming up and some events coming up? Oh, so before conference, if you we are starting C Sharp Corner chapters, in-person chapters. Um, so there's going to be a bunch of announcement in your local city. Watch out and look for announcement on C Sharp Corner website as well as in social media that there's a bunch of chapter events coming in different cities. Beside that, we are bringing few in-person conferences, um, and they're going to have conferences and these events going to happen every month almost, if not multiple times, multiple events in a month. But one of the exciting thing conference coming up is C Sharp Corner Annual Conference. It's in October, and this year we have made it even more exciting. If you know the history of C Sharp Corner Annual Conference, it's one of the largest. We used to do that in Delhi only, but this year we are planning in 5 cities. So you can look at that. We are starting with Chennai. So a bunch of speakers are flying in from US and Europe, and there's going to be local speakers as well in India. So you will see the list of speakers coming up soon. But our goal is we all going to fly to Chennai. From there, we're going to have a conference there. Then we move to Hyderabad, then Mumbai, then Jaipur, and Delhi. In Delhi, we're going to have a grand finale for the conference and also the MVP part of the conference there as well. So if you are a C Sharp Corner MVP, you will get invitation to come to Delhi. And if you're familiar with the MVP program, you get free hotels and we cover the expenses of travel, I think, and a bunch of other things. So check out that. If you need more details, contact in the MVP group on WhatsApp and other places. With that said, I think that covers today's episode. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this Friday. Everybody have a good weekend.